Hey guys, Devil here, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. In the last part, we were naughty and did absolutely everything the narrator
Stanley had
didn't
never seen
want
the
us to
office
do.
this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Anyway, this time, I'll choose the right door, but then choose future stuff wrong. Go through that door.
When Stanley came to a set
So
of two
go
open
through the
doors,
left.
he entered the door on his
Now
left.
choose get everything else wrong. Well, as much as I can.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
And ignore all
Feeling a
that.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Well, let's
Quickly
go
coming to
down.
a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oops, I wanted to see what was over here. Nothing, okay.
But
That's the
Stanley
car.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work
Spilled
hours,
coffee.
he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single
why are we just
moment
going in a
for
circle?
no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined
Ow.
himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Ow.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
Why are the stars like
Why
some
is
places?
there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
10 out
And
of
while
10.
he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
So I
So he
don't
closed
think you
his
should
eyes
go
gently,
down if you
and he
want to
invited
get that
himself to
speedrun
wake up.
achievement.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Okay. Oh, yay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real.
No,
I
the
must
colors
be
are
real.
changing.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
No!
This is the story of a woman named
What?
Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Yeah, that doesn't seem suspicious. Dead body laying there and a woman runs away from it. So, wait, why didn't we... Hold on.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay,
What
why
could
didn't
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, next time, we will continue picking, trying to get other routes. See you guys then.